She was tired and she was trying to figure it out. And we're still trying to figure it out. But I just think, just reevaluated a lot of areas and aspects of my life and thought about the person that I wanted to be and continue to become as I grow older. And I think as I get older, I'm just like, it can only get better from here. And so I think over these past few weeks,
Hi, Destiny.
hi friend.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, it's great. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
I'm excited for you to be here.
Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your diary.
Thank you.
It's the first entry, right?
I know, yeah.
Right, we're breaking, becoming, and beyond.
Yes.
What are we doing today?
You know, we're talking about some things. How we have become 30-year-old me. That's crazy. But yeah, how we got here. Cause you know. Anybody knows.
That journey, girl.
Listen.
All right, you ready?
No other way to be. Literally.
Perfect. All right. How did the person you desperately tried to be at 20 compare to the person that you're becoming at 30?
Good question. I think desperately at 20, in my 20s, as we all are, trying to figure it out, you know? We get dropped into this thing called life, never have been adults before. And I think that's when realization is like, I'm just a girl. I ain't never did this before. This is my first time doing this. I don't know what I'm doing. And so there's a lot of grace for that version of myself, that 20-year-old. Because she was, figuring it out, but also living up to expectations that she put on herself to be this perfect, have it all together, have it all figured out, even though nobody does, version of herself, which led to burnout multiple times over in multiple different areas. And trying to check boxes and accomplish things that really didn't fulfill her. But it was because, we're taught, you go to high school, graduate from high school, you go to college, get a good job, that's what you're doing. But without the structure of school, once you come out of school, you're like, what am I supposed to be doing? How do I fill the space and time? And, we don't think to have hobbies and things like that and do now. And so it's just she was tired and she was trying to figure it out. And we're still trying to figure it out, but I just think we've let go of a lot of expectations that we placed on ourselves to be this perfect picture that looks a certain way, because that's not feasible, nor is it, what's the word I'm looking for? Something that you can continue doing. It's kind of and it's not like I was wearing a mask, but I wasn't allowing myself to just be my true authentic self. And not that there weren't aspects of that version of me that wasn't my authentic self, but I think now at 30, a lot of those things aren't authentic to me. It wouldn't fit the version that I am now, and that's okay. And so it was just a lot of perfection and very accomplishment and goal-driven, and not necessarily goals or things that I wanted. It just was I thought that's what we're supposed to do, so I'm doing it, which, a lot of people do. And yeah, now I'm not. We don't do anything that doesn't fulfill us, isn't a passion, or doesn't bring us joy. We say no heavy. No is a full sentence.
What was that process like? How did you learn to embrace the no and to say no to things that you might have felt like, I have to do this? Because I know sometimes saying no is a struggle, because it's things that you still kind of feel obligated to. Mm-hmm. So how did you navigate that, or how was that process coming back to embracing your no and using it as a full sentence?
I think it was getting down to my why and being intentional of asking myself, why am I doing this? Because I'm really good at driving somebody else's goal. I can get behind somebody and be like, yeah, we're doing this. I can motivate you, and I'm good at that. But doing it for everybody and everything when I'm pouring out of myself but not getting anything in return is pointless. And so it's a constant question of, why am I doing this? Is it because I really care and I love them, I'm passionate about this project? Or is it because they asked and I want to hurt their feelings? But I'm not getting anything out of this. It's not doing anything for me. No, thank you. I can point you to somebody else that can help you. I can give you some suggestions. I can consult. I can, but I'm not giving my all to all the things anymore. Because it's not fair to me. I got goals, hopes, and dreams too. And at some point, I have to put in for myself. So it's that why. Like, why am I doing this? If it don't fall in this category, I'm not doing it. Sorry, love you. Long time.
That is good. That's good. I love that. I love that. Asking yourself, why am I doing this? That's good. That's good right there, girl. All right. Dang, that was good. That's good.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. I mean, but it really was, because really thinking about it, like, it's easy to get caught up and pulled in so many directions, but to recenter yourself by asking, like, why am I doing this? And even going further into, like, who am I doing this for? Because a lot of times it's not for us.
You. It's not. It's not at all.
So that's great. That's really good. I like that. Get a little notebook out. All right. So kind of piggybacking on that a little bit, but now flipping it more to others. So, like, what's a misconception about you, like a deeply held misconception about you that you've had to confront and release as you step into this new decade? And how did it feel kind of letting that go? Because, people will set these expectations on you, and when you don't live up to what they assumed you were going to be, that can be a little challenging. So, like, how are you dealing with that? How are you, how did that feel to go through that? Well, first of all, what is it? And then, how did you navigate that with those people? And then, how did that feel? And now, how does it feel to shed that?
Yeah. So I'm not going to have just one, I have a couple. Buckle up. So, one misconception that I think I myself had to let go, and this is not like other people, this is something I put on myself, is like, I tell myself I'm a recovering perfectionist. And so I'm constantly telling myself, like, you don't have to be perfect. The things you're doing don't have to be perfect. The things my earring fell out. That's real.
Hey, you don't have to be perfect.
Literally,
I feel like that just fit right in there.
But yeah, I don't have to be perfect. It doesn't always have to look a certain way. I don't always have the right answers. It's okay for me to be like, I don't know, and truly I don't know, and I don't have to go research it. Like, it was not shade. It was not shade. Not shade. I swear it was shade. But no, I don't have to have it all and be all things to all people. Like, I can just, like, be myself and give what I can give, and meet myself where I'm at, and that's okay. Like, it doesn't. I don't have to look a certain way and do everything. So I'm not perfect. That's one expectation, like, misconception that I, like, have to constantly remind myself of. Second, I am not an extrovert. I'm looking into the camera when I say this. People see me on social media, they have met me in person, and normally it's at an event or something. Or if I'm, like, with my friends and we meet other people and I'm, like, chatty and bubbly, like, yeah, it's a part of me. I can flip a switch, but naturally I am an introvert. I love the Lord's people, but in all honesty, I don't always like people, and that's okay. And so it's just finding that balance and allowing myself, ties back into that perfection thing, that I don't always have to be on. That the last 2 years, that's been a real one where we're like, oh yeah, no. If we don't want to be on, we're not going to be on. And you're going to get me maybe at my baseline, and I may not be the happiest. I may not be the most welcoming. I may not look as approachable as I have in the past, and that is okay. I'm all right, but sometimes I don't want you talking to me. I don't want to, please leave me alone. You see me in public sometimes and you see me and you think I saw you, I probably did. I'm sorry. Probably was like, oh my God, please don't speak to me in public. So yeah, I'm not an extrovert. And then I think thirdly, they all kind of just tie in together. I'm not always happy. And that is, I think, over the last maybe 2 or 3 years, something that I've really had to like allow myself to sit in and reflect on, because there were moments throughout middle school and high school where I was not the happiest, and didn't know what that was. But yeah, it's a thing, and it's okay. Like I don't always, like I said, have to be happy. I can sometimes sit in the suck. I can sometimes, and not sit in the suck forever, but I can sit and feel my feelings and work through them. And just not always have to be Miss Optimistic, bubbly, bright, sunshine and rainbows and fart and sprinkles. You know? So those are 3 misconceptions. What was the second part of that question?
How did you release them? And
How did I release them? Okay, crazy enough. Whatever. Crazy enough, I was dating a guy and I realized that through him, that a lot of what people, which is, oh, this is so good. A lot of the persona, because it was a version of myself, but the persona that I had built and pushed out on social media is why a lot of people think I'm so extroverted and bubbly, even though we all know social media is a highlight reel. So I give y'all a little grace, but not a lot. But that was the persona that I put out, so people meet me and that's what they expect. Not fair to me at all, any way, form, or fashion. But in dating that gentleman, I was like, oh, I see. I'm understanding you. Okay, yeah, I got it. And so after that relationship ended, and some reflecting, it was like, okay, we gotta shift. we need to shift. I took a step back from social media, and I just reevaluated a lot of areas and aspects of my life and thought about the person that I wanted to be and continue to become as I grow older. And it was just like, oh, freeing. Like, it was just like, you get me how you get me. Some days you may get extroverted, bubbly, happy, destiny. Some days you may get, please don't talk to me in public. Some days you may get, it's been a day and I need to go into my house and hibernate for 2 weeks. And my people that know me, they know that's a thing. And so it's just allowing myself the grace to like just be. However, whoever, whenever.
okay. Okay, that pretty much answered the third part of that question too. So
great.
Perfect. All right, so we're gonna kind of pivot into a specific topic.
Okay.
Ready?
I gotta be.
Yeah, I was about to say it doesn't really matter. So let's talk about family for a sec.
Okay, I love my family so much.
All right, so tell me a little bit how your relationship with your family has evolved over the last 10 years, as well as like kind of how you, if we were gonna like foreshadow into the next decade, like how do you see it continuing to grow and what are those dynamics like?
Okay. I'll start by saying I know everybody got family, and I know everybody's family is not as blessed to be my family, but like the way I love my family down bad is crazy. And my family, we love hard. Our literal saying is like, love is what it does. Like, you're putting action to your love. And so my family has always, and I know will always show up for me. And I think the evolution of a lot of my family, like relationships, specifically with my mom, has grown and developed into something really beautiful, because I think most girls can relate. Like, you know, growing up with a teenager, we have hormones, our parents have been girls before, they like know the things that we are thinking and feeling sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. And sometimes we can be little bitches, you know, because we got all these emotions and hormones running, we don't know what to do with them, and so we just lash out. But I think specifically with me and my mom's relationship, I tell people all the time, like, two things to be true at once, and I know my mom did the best that she could with me as a single mom for, 17 years. And some of the things that she did that she thought she was doing had an effect on me. And so I think the evolution of our relationship of child, teenager, young adult, like full grown adult now, has been really beautiful to see because there's been grace on both of our sides, and there's been a lot of conversations, and not always easy conversations. There's been a lot of apologies, and I think it's very needed and necessary for, I think, children to have those conversations with our parents, because our parents were people first before they had us, and then we become people outside of just being their kid. And so the evolution of me and my mom's relationship, I think, has been very freeing. I think that's a good way to describe that. Because for so long, because of how she raised me, I felt very restricted, and a little sneaky. I was a sneaky child. And so I think now it's just really freeing to just be able to talk to her and go to her for things and be like, I'm not looking for advice, I just want to vent. Or, hey, what do you think about this? We talk almost every day. And then I think with my other family members, just in general, I think just allowing them to like see me more outside of just like my accomplishments of what I'm doing, and being intentional about like hanging out with them as we all get older, and making sure that it's not just like, oh, birthday or family reunions, those high moments that we're like hanging out, but we're like checking in, and hearing each other's voice, and really being intentional about fostering relationships with my family members, because we are all getting older. And as people pass away, you never want to look back and be like, oh dang it, when was the last time I talked to them? And so that's one thing that I've kind of implemented in my going into my 30s, is like, no, I need to be checking on my people every 2 weeks. Because why not? Like, those are my people, and you love them down. And should be, even if it's only a 5-10 minute conversation, just to be like, hey, how you doing? How you doing this week? Have you eaten? Need anything? Yeah. And so I think the evolution of family is like always interesting, because everybody sees you at a different, start seeing as a baby, and then you grow up, and it's like, oh, you grown. Oh, we can joke around that I can like tell you what to do and stuff, but like not for real, because you out here living, existing on your own now, and it's crazy to think about.
Okay. So, still staying on the family topic.
Okay.
What are some of the expectations, dynamics, or pressures that weighed on you as you approached your 30s, and how have they shaped the person you're becoming now?
So, I think the interesting thing about that question is, with anybody's family, well, I won't say anybody, but I feel like with most families, or they should, I hope, everybody done blessed with a good family. But I'll say my family, there's that expectation of like, we want you to do better than us. Like, we want you to do better, live better, and, have a better life. And so it's like, yeah, you go to college, you go into the military, like whatever it is you do, that's what you do. And so that was kind of my family's like expectations, and like be a good person, love the Lord, and those type of things. But I think as a kid, words are really big to me, and so I have realized that over time I internalized a lot of the things that I heard as a kid, whether jokingly or not. When it came to my body, when it came to being a miracle child, and oh, she wasn't supposed to live and exist, and she's doing all the things, which that led into, my perfectionism. And so I don't think it's necessarily my family's expectations that were put on me. I think it was just things that I heard and then internalized, and I put on myself, that I thought I had written on myself in Sharpie, but I didn't. I wrote on myself in a pencil, and I literally can like erase it. It's like, what are you doing? And so those expectations are just like, unrealistic, kind of, sort of, because it's like my family just they want to love me, they want me to love them, love the Lord, and be happy. And it's just that simple. But I feel over these past few years, I have made this whole thing, and there's no reason it should be, because love is what it does, and that's what we stand for.
Okay.
Yeah. All that to say, the expectations I put them on myself. You know, some were put on me by parents, but that's normal. That's normal.
I love it. Okay, so I have a bonus topic for you.
Okay.
You ready?
No.
I mean, it's still the same. It's about relationships.
Okay.
So we've talked about family.
Uh-huh.
And hold your horses, because we're gonna talk about romance. That's coming. Don't do that. I need nieces and nephews.
What? Who? Okay. That's another conversation for another day. Because we know.
We'll put a bookmark in that.
We're
coming back to that.
It's only gonna be one.
I mean,
And
I didn't
the
say
one-
they all had to come from you.
Okay.
At least can I have a grand dog? Not a grand.
You can have a dog, a turtle, and a cat.
All three, huh?
That's what I want.
I love it. I love
What's
that.
this topic?
The turtle, though. Being the turtle can't get jiggy because you're not only reptiles and amphibians.
But listen, what if you live longer than me? Because I'm gonna have a tortoise and I'm gonna name it Destiny. Because tortoises live longer than humans.
You better wheel it to Latasha or somebody, because
No tortoise.
baby, the tortoise is gonna be in the wild. I hope it's gonna survive. We gonna go see Destiny at the zoo. And by we, I don't mean me, because I don't like zoos. All right, so this topic. You see what happens when she wants to be Barbara Walters? All right, so I don't know why I'm looking at this, because it's not on here.
Right.
All right, so my favorite topic, friendships.
Oh yes. This
So-
is my best friend too, y'all. I didn't say that.
Oh my goodness.
I love her so much. Oh my
So,
God.
as we grow and develop and whatnot as young ladies, and I'm not just saying we like you and
I
I,
know.
but just in general, because earlier you talked about how, we're teenagers and we're a little, and, we're figuring things out, and so are our friends.
Yeah.
So, talk a little bit about how your friendships have evolved and adapted through the last decade, and kind of what you're looking forward to about your grown friendships or your adult friendships, or that circle or tribe that you kind of cultivated through the last decade. Let's talk about friendships just a little bit.
Yeah, so growing up as an only child, my mother's running joke is I wanted everybody to be my best friend. And as a kid, I didn't see, Kayla's shaking her head like real strong. As a kid, I didn't see anything wrong with that. I just wanted everybody to be my friend. I wanted everybody to just like me. And, I just wanted all the friends, because I didn't have any siblings. I had my cousins, but I had no siblings. And so I really thought that, I wanted and needed the, brats friendship. The brat, the girl group. And then as I got into middle school and high school and college and post-college, I realized, you had that, it just didn't look like that. I've always been able to make friends, and because I'm a multi-passionate woman, all of my friends have been different. None of my friends really have been the same type of friend. They've been in different groups, they've had different interests, some believed in the Lord, some didn't, some, different races, all the things. But I've never had this one big friend group together. And that's what I thought I needed, but now looking back, that has played so much into the person that I have become, in being able to see and live and do life with people from a variety of backgrounds, who may not look, think, or even speak the way that I do. And I think now at 30, I'm so thankful for my core group, that I get to literally do life with. And some of that core group, that inner core group, we talking, almost every day. And we be looking crazy if we be like, where you been? And then I have kind of that next layer that, we maybe talk once every 2 weeks. And then I have that next layer, we check in maybe every 2 to 3 months. And then I have another layer, I'm thankful to say, I have another layer that we may talk every 3 to 6 months, or just on Instagram. And I know everybody's not fortunate enough to have that many layers of friendships, but I'm so thankful that I have had people in my life that have connected with me and want to continue to be connected with me, even if it doesn't look the way it used to look. I have college friends, we still talk, but we aren't besties. You know, feel like I've had. It's funny that I said that my mom's running joke is like I wanted everybody to be my bestie. Mind you, let me preface this before I go into what I'm about to say. Mikhail is the best friend, okay? She is ride or die. We are 30 years, not 30 years. What is like 17? It's not 30. I always over exaggerate. It's at least 17.
It's been at least since 2000.
I don't do that. 8.
Before then, right?
Virtue Girl was 2008.
Was it?
Yes.
You were at
Second
Beverly.
grade. I didn't go to Beverly with the car.
Same. Did you play volleyball for
I
Beverly?
played volleyball at Beverly.
Okay, then. I'm going to pick you up from Beverly.
Whatever. Either way, Mikhail is the best friend, ride or die, and so she's the bestie, and then I have other besties. But what I'm about to say is like I had besties in college. I had besties that I danced with, and so if I'm giving you that bestie title, like you're stuck like Chuck. You're not getting rid of me. I'm not getting rid of you. And then I have friends, and then I have associates, and then I have people that it's like we work together because we're both passionate about this situation or organization or whatever, and it doesn't go past that. I think just now at 30, I'm understanding, not now at 30, but now at 30, I'm fully having the appreciation for friendship in whatever form it looks like. Everybody doesn't have the capacity to be my bestie. I'm a lot, and I expect a lot, and I don't think we're wrong with that. And I don't have the capacity to be everyone else's bestie. I don't have the capacity to be everyone's friend either. And I think that's important to acknowledge when you are trying to cultivate friendship the way I have or the way that you want. It's just understanding people, understanding yourself, and understand that just like doing life with people is important. We're not meant to do life alone. So, yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. Like,
What?
you said, having people do life with is important. We're not meant to do life alone.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, how has having such a diverse group of friends, like, I know you said that it's allowed you to, like, interact with different people from different backgrounds and stuff, but, like, you, like, personally, thinking back on some of the things that you went through in your 20s, like, how was, like, having those group of friends around you at that time,
Mm-hmm.
like, important to, like, helping you get through those moments? Or, like, if you...
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So I think it's as simple as, like, understanding that, like, you're not the first person to fail an exam. And if you were in a class, it's like, what'd you make on the exam? Well, what'd you make on this? Well, what'd you? Oh, so we all did bad. Great. It's being able to just relate and really, like, that light bulb goes off, like, oh, I'm really not alone in this. Like, I'm not the first person to experience this, and I probably won't be the last. And just to be able to have that, what's the word I'm looking for? Connection. Just to be able to just have that touch point of, like, you know what I'm feeling. And I'm not crazy to be feeling it. I'm not making it up. I'm not alone. And even though sometimes your friends maybe can't relate or step into your shoes, they can sympathize. They can have empathy for what you're experiencing, or they can jack you up. Be like, I did that. Don't listen to me. Listen to experience. To wisdom. Don't listen to experience. I have a lot of older friends. That's another reason why I say that like that. And they have been very intentional. Like, nah, don't do that. And here's why. And so it's just being able to have those people that you can call and reach out to and say, hey, this is what I'm feeling. Have you felt like this? No? Okay, well, what would give me some advice? Be a lending ear, be a shoulder to cry on, bring me some food. Whatever it is you need that moment. Yeah.
Cool. Love it.
Yeah.
Never mind.
What?
My friend had a lot of best friends, Lord.
I did.
Jesus.
And we got past it.
Ooh, yeah.
We got
A lot
past
of
it.
best friends. I was like, dang, that's a new one. Who is this?
Don't do that.
I'm sorry. All
Don't
right.
do that.
All right. Cool. I'll move on.
You know, like terrible. So are you?
Hey, we've grown.
We have. Woo, shout out to us.
Yes, we love new friends now.
Do we?
Yeah.
We do. Okay, yeah.
All right, focus. Fun part. You ready for this?
No. But yes. Because you said fun part.
Because it's fun. Because we're talking about love.
Mm.
Romance.
Mm.
Yeah. Not you know what you got on fishnets and red shoes. All right, so looking back over these last 10 years, I mean, you can go further than that, but don't tell on yourself. So let's keep it to the last 10 years.
Last 10. Okay.
What have your romantic experiences taught you about the parts of love you didn't want to see, the heartbreak, the disappointments, and how have they reshaped your understanding of its beauty and its limits?
Ew. Okay. There's a lot of parts to that question.
Yes.
Switch. There we go. So the parts that I didn't want to see, everybody doesn't deserve your love. Everybody doesn't deserve your like. Everybody doesn't deserve your time. Everybody doesn't deserve a hey. They don't deserve a text back. You know, we feel like, oh, if someone's nice, like, oh, they're a good person, you know, I can give them a chance. No, not always. Not always. Because you don't know what you could potentially be giving up and then taking in. And so it's like, over my last 10 years, you know, it was like, oh, he's cute. You know, you're good to look at. And then I get to know you and it's like, oh, but I don't like that, and I don't like that, and I don't like that. But you're a good person. You check these boxes and you da-da-da-da-da. So it's like, okay, I'll just, you know, I'll sacrifice or I'll mute myself or I'll suppress the way that made me feel. Because, you know, I like hanging out with you and I like, you know, but like I said before, you can be in it and not see it. Like the question says, like, what don't you want to see? Sometimes you don't want to see that something is ending and you need to let it go. Release it. Move on. Allow your heart to break so you can, like, put the pieces back together. Because staying in it is not doing anything for you. And that was something I had to learn. Like, let it go. Like, you see that it's not growing. It is stagnant. You're not happy. And you're trying to, like, force it and hold on for a while. And I said it exactly how I said it, for a while. You're not getting anything out of it. And so I think that's one of the biggest things of, like, over the last 10 years, there's a lot of relationships that I won't say a lot, but there were specific relationships that I was in that I thought I needed to, like, hold on for, and I was the only one, like, putting in effort to make it work. And I didn't want to see that, like, it is ended. The season is wrapped. If you ever gotta ask a nigga if he love you, run. No. If the thought ever runs across your brain to ask that question, you already got your answer, baby. He doesn't. Take a moment for 24-year-old me. Anywho. But no, like that's the thing I didn't want to see. Of, like, you know, if you're the only one trying to make it work, let it go. Let it go. You're not getting an award. You're not Superwoman. You're not winning a grand prize. Let it go. What was the other parts of that question? Because I could go on a rant.
Well, look, you know what? Let's stay here for just a second.
Okay.
Just a second, though.
Okay.
Because talking about that, I think a lot of times women will try to do that. We'll try to take on the put on the cape and save everybody. Yes, I was trying not to say Captain Save a Hoe, but I mean, we try to be that. We love a good project, and I mean,
I ain't go in knowing it was a project.
well, once we get there, it's like, oh, a challenge. I ain't backing down. I can do this.
Okay.
No, but for real though. So I think sometimes too, when you were talking about staying in things and not letting it go and being vulnerable enough to allow your heart to break so you can, put the pieces back together and move forward out of something that you know you shouldn't be in, is basically what I was hearing. So why do you think it is that we do that? Like, or I'm not going to say we because we're not a monolith. Like, why do you think you stayed in that so long? Like, was that pressure from yourself? Like, this has to work? Like, where's that? Like,
I think it just simply comes, I think it simply comes down to we all want to be loved. And a lot of times, unfortunately, we don't get a guidebook on how to date. And I think with anything, regardless of age, even sometimes we go in it with that infatuation, eyes wide open, like, oh my God, this person is phenomenal, you know? And then as that the rose colored glasses fall off, sometimes they don't. But anywho, the rose colored glasses fall off is like, oh, I see this person for who they really are. And or that this person has changed and grown to somebody that I just don't mesh and blend with. And so one, that need to wanting to be loved, and then also recovering anxious attachment style girly, you pull away, I'm like trying to hold on and pull you back. We know that's not healthy. You burn yourself out doing that crap. If they are telling you and showing you the signs that they want to be with you, receive that hurt and move on. Take it and move on. It won't always be there. And so I think it's just, we all want to be loved. We, loved, we want companionship, whatever that looks like. That's something that, I still want. And I think in those past relationships, I thought I'd have to show my love and my effort by doing and toughing it out. But love shouldn't be a struggle. We ain't suffering. We're not miserable. And so it just, it was because I wanted to be loved. I thought it was love. I thought it was forever, all those things that we all think. So that's why I did it. I shouldn't have. Praise God for deliverance. Freedom.
I mean, sure we shouldn't have, but I think there's lessons in beauty and all that, right?
There is definitely lessons and beauty in it because, to be clear, I'm not saying that my past relationships were all bad and terrible. Phenomenal times. I've dated some great guys. They started out great. I'm kidding. Am I?
You guys are still great, just not great for my girl.
Exactly. But no, with any type of relationship, platonic, romantic, familial, there are lessons to be learned in all of them. And I think in romantic relationships, I've learned what I want, what I need, what I don't want, what I'm not sacrificing on, and then how I need to be loved. And did it take a couple duds to be like, oh my God, I wasted so much time with you. Thank you, but dang. Yeah, it did. But I think at 30 now, I'm not gonna be just wasting my time. Not that there was other relationships or time wasters, but I'm more planted and firm in what I want and what I'm looking for. And whether that comes in a year or 30, or it doesn't at all. Because if I'm Tracy Ellis Ross, that's fine too. But no. Yeah, I just think that, it all takes time. And the right person will come when they come. Not right now, though. Not right now. I'm living life. Okay, I'm dead.
Okay, I hear you. It's not right now. But when that time comes, so you talked a little bit about, now you know what you want, what you don't want, where you're going to sacrifice, what your non-negotiables are.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that. So dating in your 30s, like, versus dating in your 20s, like, how are you doing it different? Or are you gonna date at all? I mean, you're gonna date, but like, what does that look like now at your 30s? Like, what are you looking for?
That's a crazy question to ask right now. Am I gonna date in my 30s? I don't know. I, in my 28 and 29 were interesting years because, your girly was a relationship girly. I, was in it. I'm a loyal down bad. And in college and then post college, not really post college, a couple years after college, got into another relationship. And so 28 and 29 was the year of like, oh, this is in the streets. Summer 28. And not in the streets like I was hooking up with people. Clarify that. But just, going on dates, meeting people with no expectation that we're like trying to get married. It's just like figuring out what I want and keeping it casual, just meeting new people and having fun without the pressure of like, okay, are you my person? Are we going to get married? 2 or 3 dates, and it's like, all right, this was fun, but we don't mesh. And it was funny because there was one guy I had dated, and we went on a couple of dates, and my mom like asked about him because that's another thing too. Whoever he is, you gotta come right and correct because being my family, I don't know when that's gonna happen again. Anywho, but mom asked about when we got dated, and I was like, yeah, we weren't romantically, we weren't a match, and she was like, what does that mean? And I was like, we were friends and we could be great friends, but romantically we didn't mesh. We didn't want the same things. And she was like, oh, it's a very like mature way to say that. I was like, yeah. And so I think at 28 and 29, I was really just allowing myself to date like I had never had before, and have fun and that freedom of not feeling obligated because you're not my boyfriend. I'm not your girlfriend. There's no expectations here. If you want to hang out, text me. If you don't, we don't have to. And so I think now at 30, like I said before, know what I want, know what I'm looking for. I don't feel like I want to give out all my secrets because, if you come with it, you come with it. But I will say, I want someone who, sees me, they meet me, and they love me like as I am in all forms because I can be a lot in a good way. And so it's just that simple. I think a lot of times we try to overcomplicate it, and it doesn't have to be. When it's your person, it's your person. And you'll love me, and I'll love them. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm not giving them the playbook.
Of course not. You gotta keep them guessing. But I like that. So that meets you, sees you, and loves you as you are.
Yes, I am.
I love that.
That's what my friend Bree, by the way. Tag her. That was her saying, not mine. She's a wise woman.
I love it. Okay, bring this to a close. Turn the page.
Living it.
Let
it be 30! Okay. Crazy.
So we kind of talked about kind of where you are now. We talked about the relationships, family, friendships, romantic relationships. And so now, just looking back over the last 10 years, was there a defining or pivotal moment for you in the last 10 years where you felt like you may not make it to your 30s? And what kind of pulled you through that moment or that time period?
Okay. So I think, the last 10 years, I won't say like in the dramatic sense of like I may not make it to my 30s, but I think we all have moments where we're just like, ooh, all right, this is a rough season. And I think 29 has really been a year of like shedding and like peeling back all the layers that I've built. And so like I'll say like specifically at 29, February of this year was mentally rough for me. Just a lot of internal battles and pressures and thoughts and negative self-talk and self-doubt, and just feeling like I didn't know how I was existing, what I was doing, and who am I? And it took me really just being open and vulnerable and like honest with my mom one day on the phone outside trying to get gas, and just being like, I am tired. I have all these thoughts and feelings and I don't know what to do with them. I'm not happy. What is life? And also very thankful to my mother, to my friends, to my therapist for really just being there for me to like lean on and helping me step back from a lot of things, social media being one, and some of the things that I was obligated and like doing, and just really kind of finding that why for everything that I was doing. And so coming out of that, but getting the help and doing the things you need to do so that you are fully whole, happy, and healthy, and not all the time happy. Happy all the time is not realistic. But just making sure that you're okay. And so I think February of this year was one of those like moments where it's just like, okay, we can't keep doing like this and keeping it all inside. And then I think the next moment, which a lot of people don't know about, which was intentional because I'm a little private, but there was a lesson in it for me, and I hope maybe there's a lesson in it for someone else. But I got into a really bad accident. Well, it was like 3 weeks ago, a month ago almost. And leaving a friend's house, and it was late, and I don't remember the accident. Don't remember going to the hospital, flashes from the hospital, and by nothing other than the Lord Himself, He kept me, and I walked away with bruising and some scarring. But I was like fully alive and coherent, and so I think that those two moments right here, right before I turned 30, was just like at the beginning of the year and kind of at the end of the year, which is insane. But specifically the accident just has with anything, when you like see it on TV, it's like, oh, you had a near death experience. And it's like until you have one, you're like, oh yeah. But like to really have that experience and be like, life is too short for me to continue living and existing as I am. And for me, that's being afraid to go after things that I want to go after, doing the things that I want to do, loving on people that I want to love, and just being who I want to be authentically and fully without question or wonder what other people think. That the accident really kind of brought that to the forefront. And the crazy thing about it is like in therapy, my therapist, after like dealing and talking through the accident, she had to like, the simplest thing was like, Destiny, you're not the first person to have an accident and you won't be the last. But sometimes the way our brains work, you're like, oh my God. Because y'all, I don't have a speeding ticket on my record. And so it was just like, oh my gosh, I got in an accident. I totaled my car. I freaked out my entire family and my friends. And what the heck? Like that recovery perfectionist was, the thoughts in my brain was just eating away at me. And so I had to be very intentional of like, girl, you're good. It's not the end of the world. Things can be replaced. You can't. And so that was one of the moments. I think February of this year, and of course I've had others, but I think just specifically at 29 to have the realization of like 3 weeks before like my birthday month, of like, yo girl, you almost didn't make it. So what are we doing? You literally got a second chance. Like, stop. let's get for real and live life how we want to live it. So, yeah.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
What when I say I love it, because I did not love that.
She did not love that. We didn't love it. We
did not love that.
No.
So kind of just this time frame between your accident and now, and having that, I guess it's Oprah would call it your aha moment of like, what am I doing? Mm-hmm. And just kind of where you were February up into this, the timing of it all, kind of for me, kind of just knowing you a little bit is kind of like, this is crazy, but we know God,
You be doing
God be
good.
God be got him.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't
Um,
think that was by accident because I know some folks be like, what?
no, no, no.
But yeah,
But he'll use moments to kind of shake us
what's
and wake
up?
us a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
So just in these last couple of weeks alone, kind of working on this project and your channel and you know just everything these last couple of weeks leading up to 30, because I know for me when I turned 30, like it's kind of like, oh my gosh, I for me I start going through that checklist. Well, I ain't done this, I hadn't done this, I hadn't done this, I hadn't done this.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh my gosh, 30.
Mhm.
So like, kind of talk about like where you've been like
Mhm.
these last couple of weeks, kind of leading up to this and
Yeah.
working on this project and.
So I have always, I feel like, loved my birthday because when you're me, it's just like, oh, thank the Lord for another year, and you're welcome for being able to like experience me another year, you know. Um, but and so I've never, for me, had this like, oh my God, I'm getting older. No, I love getting older. I feel like I accredit that feeling about age to my mom. She aged gracefully. She's beautiful, and she's constantly doing and learning new things. And so, as she's gotten older, and I've been blessed to see that. And so I think as I get older, I'm just like, it can only get better from here. And so I think over these past few weeks with the accident, it's like, okay, one, we know who our Lord is, and so like, does only get better from here? But like, for real now, girl, like you were kept here for a reason. Let's not fumble that favor, as Pastor Darius says, you know? And so it's like, oh, I'm about to really be older, wiser, and hotter. You know? And it's like, with that older, wiser, and hotter comes so many other things that I will have the opportunity to experience in life, and the people that I will meet, and the things that I will do, the things that I'll fail at. Like, I'm just so excited to do that. And this project and coming back to YouTube was one of those things, because I don't even know if many people know I did YouTube in college, but my perfectionist and me in my head, I stopped. And just over the past couple weeks, this was what I think over the span like a week, I was like, I want to go back to YouTube, and I called on my people, artistic director, time, yeah, called on my people, it's like, hey, this, and
As I noted, the mic
and
started to die, and we did not realize how bad it was starting to die and cut in and out until afterwards. And so you're gonna voiceover because I was not reshooting. This is good quality, content, and you can't recreate that. Because it felt very natural in all the things that I said. So here at the end, I'm just saying that like I decided to go to YouTube, come back to YouTube, within the span of like 2 weeks, and my friends thankfully were on board to help me with this project. And then Mikhail asked what things I have to look forward to in the beyond portion of this title of breaking, becoming, and beyond. And with that, I recently got new tattoos about 2 months ago. And so I want my tattoos. I want to go skydiving. I want to learn how to skateboard, take vocal lessons. There's so many things that I'm looking forward to. I started a business. And so it's just like, yeah, 30 is going to be phenomenal. And I hope you guys have enjoyed my first Destiny Diaries. I hope you like, subscribe, and share. And happy birthday to me. Thanks for watching, guys.